All right, my friends, welcome to episode 263 of Prof and Dev Play Games. My name is Larry, professor at Prof Plays Games on Twitter, Dev at SummerSpeak. How's it going, man?
It's going okay. It's a nice rainy weekend in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, kind of our first big wet season. Like the light switch is flipped. We have gone from summer back to rain. And I'm okay with that. Very okay with that.
I would be in love with that. Amazing.
Yep.
It's a little cooler here now, but I guess
That's good. Not 105.
No, Jesus. But I think we have the Santa Ana's coming back, my wife said, so we'll...
Oh, that's cool. Ugh.
Speaking of hot, hell is Hades, and this
Oh, it's hot.
this episode we're going to talk about Hades because that is consuming our lives. I think last episode I probably had put in maybe 3 hours total, and now I'm at 16 hours.
Okay. I'm at 88.
Jesus. And is there still new stuff?
Yeah.
No.
I haven't seen the. Okay, let's break the game down into. I feel like I think I said it last. I think it's a 3-act game.
Right.
The credits don't come at the end of Act 3. Credits come at the end of Act 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Act 3. I'm very much in Act 3, and I'm working through that. Which I guess also people online call it the epilogue, but I feel like it's all still part of the overall story.
Right.
Which I won't spoil any of that for you. It's actually pretty fun and neat. And yeah, I've been absolutely consumed by this game. I have sat down every night. I'm like, I'll play something else. No, nope, not. I'll even sit down and be like, I'm not going to play anything tonight, and I somehow end up playing Hades.
Yeah, it has the hooks in me for sure. It just feels like that kind of game where you're like, I'll just turn it on for like a minute. Like last night, I was like, I can probably just do one more quick run, and that run was the best run I've ever had, and it lasted an hour. I was like, okay. And I just got so into it in the middle that I had forgotten that it saves after basically every chamber or whatever, that I could have just put it down and come back today. And I got through Elysium but you made a video for me today, which was nice. You had a Zag run, or a spear run with Zag, and you started off with Aphrodite, and you were kind of walking me through the choices that you but trying to be as spoiler-free as possible. But you did engage in one activity that I hadn't seen yet. I didn't know you could fish.
Oh, you haven't got the fishing pole yet? No. I guess you have to buy it.
Oh, okay.
It shows up at the house contractor, and you buy the fishing pole, and then you can fish. It's just a tiny side activity because you just trade the fish for resources.
Oh, okay.
The rare give you ambrosia, blood, diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just a way to get rarer resources. But
is there some?
It's fishing because there's fishing in the game. Why not?
Is there some checklist about like which fish you've caught?
Yeah.
So like blending Animal Crossing?
There's not a fate for it.
Oh,
there's
okay.
just in your journal it keeps track of all the available fish, and I think there's 3 different fish per area, different rarities, and yeah. I know at the beginning. Had you seen the Chaos Gates? Did you know Chaos?
Oh yeah. I have. I texted you probably a week ago and showed you that I got the Chaos. Fuck is this shit?
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Because I didn't shoot. I mean, you were watching the video. I was like, I don't know if you've seen this.
Do you
there's
often
fish
choose
in Chaos
them?
sometimes.
Oh,
Too.
there are? Interesting.
Very weird, crazy fish.
Do you ever choose? Do you often choose to take the Chaos Gate?
Yes, almost every time.
Yeah. Okay.
It's available, especially early, because the boons you can get out of it are super strong. So, like, if I was doing the run that you were watching, and I was at that Chaos Gate, I'd take the Chaos Gate, and I would attempt to get something that boosted my attack damage more, like, because you could probably get another 30 to 60% attack damage across the board from a Chaos boon.
Right.
And it would be worth it. It's a great way if you hit those things right that just breaks your builds in a lot of ways.
Just like OP. I thought that's what happened to me last night with my hour-long run. It came on the heels of a pretty good run where I had gotten Dionysus's, he changes your cast to like a bomb, basically.
The
trippy something. Yeah, it's like stuns and hits, and I just kept cranking the damage, so it was doing like 300 damage per hit. And I was just wrecking shop. And then I came back through, and I was like, I'll just see what the boon is. And it was that one again. I said, okay, I can probably do this better now. It was the first time that I'd gotten to the Bull of Minos, but the Bull.
Asterius.
So him, and then gotten to the end with him and
Theseus.
Thank you, Theseus. And I beat them both first time. And
Nice.
actually, I thought
That's a
that
tough fight. It's a wall.
it's a long fight, but because of the bomb, I could just run around the outside. It was really, I thought it was pretty easy compared to like the new Furies. Like, give me Meg back because the other Furies are kicking my ass, you know? Oh my god. I remember getting to Meg.
I love the fact. Do you have that stream whenever you recorded when you first encountered not Meg?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah,
Because that's always I've seen a couple videos online where people are fresh in the game and they're like, "Oh, time to face Meg again." And they're like, "Who the fuck are you?"
yep.
Oh shit! What's this game doing to me?
I was having a really good run up to that point, and then I limped out of there with like 10 health, and I was like, well, my run is now. So do you ever get Meg back, or is it just?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I won't spoil you on other things because I specifically didn't show you some stuff in the house.
Right. Yeah.
I guess the only thing I won't show how it's done, but you can customize your runs a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can add difficulty to it. You see it on my end screen. It's called Heat. And when the video I recorded for you, I actually removed all my heat, so it was much closer to what you're doing, just a normal run. But there is this whole. It's honestly a lot like I think Transistor had features like this where you could tweak the run, and Bastion totally had abilities to change the difficulty.
Oh yeah, Transistor had those little things you slotted in that changed it.
Yeah, very incrementally. Mm-hmm. Well, this takes it to another level of incremental changing to difficulty, and gives you reasons to increase your difficulty for rewards.
Okay.
So I didn't show you all that because there's things that change in the run that you wouldn't see until you start messing with that stuff. That just change the game flat out, change fights, add different enemies, different effects. Crazy stuff.
This game is.
So I think my highest heat is like 6.
Oh wow.
So yeah, the highest one I've seen online is world record is a 50 heat.
Holy shit! Did they actually survive? They beat it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Wow. I have a video up on YouTube. I watched it today. I was like, it was fucking insane. I was blown away.
Are they just constant movement?
I'm not anywhere close to that.
Are they just constantly moving?
Yeah, you constantly move.
Yeah.
There's constant movement. Don't stop. I mean, you're abusing everything you possibly can at that point.
Right. Man, I hate
your build really matters.
Right.
Like,
I'm still like working out movement in Asphodel where I keep frickin' dashing into the goddamn lava.
Yep. So, I mean, I still do it too.
So
but usually I can get out of it pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, there's a little bit of a grace period, which is.
Yeah. You'll watch my video. I keep going. That run turned into kind of dumb. Not kind of dumb. It was really dumb. I've gone in on Aphrodite. I'm like, have I gotten Aphrodite's legendary where you stop watching it?
Yeah.
Legendary bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was dumb.
Dumb as in like it broke your build, or dumb as in?
Yeah. There's a reason why I only attack now.
Yeah. That's fine. I mean, that simplifies everything. Like managing.
I'm just like dash, attack. Just keep dashing and attacking.
I love the
although I mix the cast in as well. The cast is really useful.
I found with my spear build, the attack and a good cast, and then having something on my dash that attacks. And it was interesting when you got to the part of the video where you're like, I don't focus on spin attack because it's not useful, which is great because I've used it maybe twice and I found the same thing. It's like it's not worth the time to hold still to build it up. It's not really worth enough damage.
At all. There are some hammers, dataless hammers that make it a bit more worthwhile. There's one that makes the spin up faster, really fast.
Right.
But I don't find it useful on Zag's spear. Really, there's only one. There's an aspect that your spin attack is one bigger, and when you hit somebody with your spin attack, it puts a mark on them when they take more damage.
No, that's nice.
And so it is useful, and I beat the game using that aspect, but that's the only aspect I spin with, because it's just part of the core mechanic of it. Right. But Zag Spear, no, just stab fast.
I love that spear. I love the range. I just got to the point where I can exchange Titan Blood for increased stats, I guess.
Aspects.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I also I think I've unlocked most of the weapons. I just unlocked the big railgun kind of thing.
The Adam rail.
Mm-hmm.
Exogryph, the gun that all other guns came from.
Created from, yeah. Exactly.
That's the lore.
Yeah, I love that. It's like, hopefully the mortals won't, as a prototype for weapons they build, like, oh no, they will.
Yeah. Um, it's a hard one. That is definitely a strange weapon.
Yeah, I didn't like it that much just because of the reload mechanic.
Yeah, I figured it out. I think I'm on a heat 4 or 5 with it. I've
Mhm.
won plenty of times with it. I've
Oh,
won
okay.
with every weapon
Even the
multiple
fists?
times in
Wow.
multiple aspects. Huh?
Even the
Oh, the
fists?
fists. I love fists.
Oh,
I
wow.
love them. Again, you have to be very comfortable with the movement. But once you're comfortable with the movement, you never stop dashing and never stop attacking.
Right.
It's just a constant just spam, and you're just kind of circling them,
Hmm.
dashing through them, backstabbing back and forth. Oh God, it's insane.
What's your least used weapon? Like the normal sword or the shield?
Shield. Shield is probably where I'm the lead. Shield I can never seal the deal with when I first started. It was like the thing I always was playing because it
Hmm.
felt safe.
Yeah, right.
And I made it um, to the final boss multiple times with Shield, but I can never seal the deal with it. And then I switched to bow, and bow the next. I remember that I was like Shield all the way for a good like 10 runs, and then I switched to bow, and I beat the game on bow
Oh, that was the first time you beat the
the
game?
next time.
No.
Yep. And I was
I
like,
haven't even
okay,
used the
I
bow yet.
clearly just need to do more damage.
Yeah,
Like the game rewards aggressive play.
right.
So,
Yeah, I haven't used the bow yet at all. Actually, I've just
um,
stuck to my. Once I've moved up to shield, just have stuck with the spear, except for the gloves I use and the exogryph I use.
yeah. Like I said, they all have their place, and I use them all now. It just comes down to, and this is some of the depth of the game, is different weapons really favor different types of boons and different gods. So like the rail really likes on its attack. Well, you have your ammo, but it attacks really fast. So you probably, as I found, I always liked putting Zeus on the attack.
Hmm.
So you're just
The lightning.
lightning
Yeah.
just flies everywhere and just wrecks everything, and you just go deep lightning with it, so
Hmm.
that you're spamming out lightning bolts with every attack that jolt enemies, that bounce to more things, and it just clears rooms.
Are you talking about
So
for the bow or any weapon?
the rail,
Oh, the rail. Got it.
the rail
Oh, yeah, yeah.
does that because the rail attacks really fast.
Right.
For
That's a good
the
idea.
bow was actually typically you wouldn't want that. Bow I've found it's either go very hard into crit with Artemis,
Hmm.
because your main attack is slow. Your special is a shotgun thing because there is some hammers with it, and how I won was I basically focused on bow's special, which spits out a bunch of arrows, small arrows, but it was a hammer that gave me, I had 2 hammers in the end that gave me more of those special arrows, and then also one that instead of they fanned out, it reduced the cone, and it um, charged up so I could aim it before firing it,
Mm.
and then I just would get right next to the person I want to do and just unleash all of it into them, like every single thing hits them.
Wow.
um, and it would you just watch the health just melt. Like that was
Right.
the final boss fight. I just melted them super fast using that build up, and I think it was Artemis on it, so it was critting. It had big chance to crit, and so it was just huge damage. So yeah,
I guess at the beginning of the game, it feels like some of the boons or the power ups or whatever feel sort of random, but as you move through deeper into your runs or whatever, it feels like it's less random and you can control it more and it feels more stable and having fairly good runs.
yeah, and you start learning more that like once you have a god or two, you will see those more often. The game
Hmm.
naturally gives you more of those.
That's probably why I'm going to get more Dionysus stuff right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you've gone heavy into Dionysus, you'll probably still continue to see Dionysus. Although they'll usually pick 1 or 2 other gods to feed you as
Yeah,
well.
right.
Um,
Man,
I don't know. I just talk about the game and I'm just like, God, I just want to play more.
me too. That's how it's been every week when you've been talking. So I figured we'd just do a whole podcast on it. The music, man, the soundtrack is their best one. It is, and I've loved like Transistor. I listen to Transistor still
Yeah.
all the time, but this one I think is far and away the best.
Oh, it's so. I haven't got tired of it.
Yeah,
And my God, those certain tracks when you hit certain bosses and stuff, you're like, yeah, I'm all in. Let's go.
I love the one where you jump
Yeah.
when you first jump into the first world, whatever. And
Yeah.
it's just very driving, just get you going.
Yeah.
What is the name of the
There's
first area?
those.
Because Asphodel is second one, seems third.
Tartarus.
Oh, Tartarus, duh.
Yeah.
Thanks.
and then sticks
And
up
then
top.
sticks. Is that the last one? There's more after that, right? Is that
No,
a
that's the
spoiler?
Temple of Sticks where you're at.
That was
You
it?
got to be. That's it.
Oh
That's
shit!
out.
I got to the last one. Huh.
Yeah. Have you died yet? No, you're still on that run, right?
No, I died.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that was my last stream. I died probably a minute in.
Okay.
You know,
That was me too. The first time I made it to Sticks. The first number of times I made it to Sticks, I died while in Sticks.
right? Because you're still
Didn't
learning
even
all the
make it to
enemy
the
types and
last
things
boss.
like that.
Yeah, you got to learn them, and they're very different, and they can be fucking hard.
Yeah.
Goddamn poison.
Yes, exactly. Actually, you know what? I went through like 3 chambers and then died, and it was.
Yep.
So I don't know if it was like a poison resist at some point or what, but
No, but if you see that there's
the pool or whatever.
the pools,
Yeah.
if you're poisoned, just run over to them and use them.
Yep. I was
You can use them
that, but
to fights.
I found them hard to pick out of the background, so I just need to learn
They can
what they
be.
look like.
Yeah, the pattern recognition, you got to look for that glowing pool.
So the idea there
But
is the idea there is that you are looking for something to distract Cerberus.
Yes.
Is that a result of finishing all 6 of those areas, or
No.
you might get lucky and find it in
Oh,
one?
you'll get to where in the video where I talk about this.
Oh, cool.
It will. It can happen on the second one forward.
Okay, cool.
So I mean, I've had plenty where I find it on my second room, maze through.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I've had to clear them all. Just depends. It's random chance.
Got it.
But 2 or 3 seems pretty common.
I love the way it's set up. It's just so different than the other one, obviously.
Each area is pretty drastically different.
Yeah. But like Tartarus,
Elysium kicked my ass.
Oh yeah.
For so long.
I feel like
those enemies are way harder.
I feel like Elysium was easier for me as an entrant than Asphodel. I think Asphodel, mainly because of the lava on the outside and just really having to. But even that one's getting easy. Like Tartarus, obviously is easy except for final boss there. You know, with the one that the chamber keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller, you progress through their health bar.
Yeah. Tisiphone.
Yeah. Are there just 3 Furies?
Yeah, the 3 Furies.
Yeah, right. Because when I got to Meg the first time, I was like, I know there are more Furies. Are the other Furies the other bosses? And I didn't see how they're going to work in the other Furies until all of a sudden Meg wasn't there. And I was just like, oh, God. Okay, this is what we're doing, huh?
I got to deal with these people now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I've just keep devouring this game from a depth standpoint, and it's shocking. It's still doing really well on Steam.
Yeah, sales-wise, you mean?
Yeah, I was looking through all the sales. I mean, you have a bunch of other big games coming out, and it's 1, 2, 3. It's been in the top 10 since it came out. It still is. It's even off sale. It's on the top 10.
Right. It's such the right price for. It feels like it's undervalued for how big the game is. You know, it should be like a $40 game to be honest, but they're selling for $25. So.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, it got it for $20. And when we picked up on Epic a long time ago, was the early access beginning. I think it was.
It was no. I think it was still $25.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was $25, and I just used a coupon on it.
Oh,
I got it for $15.
Right. Okay. Or whatever. Mystery purchase history.
I'm pretty sure it was $25.
But it's so interesting. That that's a game that we've both had for a long time and kind of like dabbled in, but then it's come on so strong, just out of nowhere for me in terms of like Woody conversation, way up there on my list.
I mean, I get it. I mean, for me, I just wanted because I played it once during the early access thing after I picked it up. But it was enough of a taste to be like, hey, I just want to wait till it's done. Like, I can tell that there's something special here and it's going to be cool.
Right.
But I don't want to see it before it's fully done then, because what's the purpose at that point for me? So I'm happy that I waited and can get so deep into it now. And it sounds like they added quite a bit for their final patch when it came out that they did not show in early access. So
right. Well, that's good. It gives people something to even though then I bet. I'm looking at my transaction history and I paid $10 for Hades. So that might,
maybe it was 20.
I think it might have been 10 with a tip on, or 20 with a 10. Not sure, but I bought it May of.
Or was it on sale on top of it? I know it went on sale a couple times too, without the coupon, with the discount.
Right.
So I know it's always been 25 on Steam when it first came to Steam, back in December. And I always kept it discounted to 19, but
right.
But its retail has always been 25.
Yeah. And that same thing with
25,
but with the $5 discount.
Yeah. which makes sense.
Yeah.
Man, I need to play it on Switch. I just can't. They got to get that cross save in there
Yeah,
and
it's
work
kind
it.
of no point
And they're
until that.
committed to it still. Like it's still coming, and they just don't have a time frame specifically on it. But they just want to work out kind of the kinks with. They don't want it to ever overwrite your save on a different platform.
No, because that would be
Exactly.
very bad.
Yeah. So they just want to make sure that it's like rock solid on that
Right.
on that front. But man, once they have that in, I'm immediately purchasing it on the Switch too.
Although,
Yeah,
I mean, I
some
can.
friends who've been playing it on the Switch exclusively, and
Oh,
they
nice.
say it's amazing. So
Yeah, I hear it runs with us.
um,
It'd be nice to have it on the go, but mine's on my laptop, so I bring. So
there you
I
go.
kind of want to go. This laptop purchase was.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other things. Have you? Okay, so I bet you found Sisyphus then.
Oh yeah, I already have his keepsake.
Have you found Eurydice?
Yes.
Okay, the singer.
Hmm.
Okay,
I just found. I think this was in Cesium.
there's one in each one,
Oh, okay.
each zone.
Okay. In Elysium, I
Except
found the
six.
guy who I forget who it was, but you basically are both fighting at the same time to see who gets the most kills.
Oh
or...
no. Oh, Thanatos.
Yes, that's
Basically the god of death, Grim Reaper.
right. So I didn't know. I didn't understand what was happening in that moment. Was I supposed to beat him because he got 7
Yeah,
and I got 6?
you're supposed to beat him.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to. Like if you beat him, you get rewarded with a life up, a heart.
Oh, got it. Okay.
On top of whatever the chamber was going to give you in the first place.
Right.
So.
But you're not attacking. You're not attacking each other. He's not there to attack.
No, you're just competing to see who can get the most kills.
Yeah.
Man, sometimes those are really cool, and he can show up anywhere. Doesn't have to just be Elysium.
Oh, really?
It can be. Yeah.
So is he not the kind of character for Elysium then?
No. Nope.
Who's?
He's just another person that can show up. I won't. In my run, you'll see who the person is.
Okay. And
I
would,
no choice but to go to that. So
I might not have seen him my first time through there.
Yeah, you might not have.
Okay.
But there's a bunch of story with. So all those characters, there's a bunch of story with them as well.
So what do you think from a game that like driving this feeling with this game that like seemingly everybody has?
There's all the theories and stuff of. I think this game very much hits a certain level of that flow state really well. And I don't think that's something that you can sit here and any game dev could sit here and specifically write out. We're going to hit that. I think that is purely from a standpoint of they spent a long time working on this game and tuning it to give that feeling of just getting lost in it.
Right.
So I think the gameplay, what we've talked about is that, you could stop after any chamber, no issues. The amount of times that I actually do that, very low, because I just want to keep playing. I just want to see what the next chamber is and what the next reward is and where it goes and what's next.
I feel like that's so forgiving of parents though, who are like, and it's like, okay, well, you can always pause, but just to be able to X out and be like, I gotta go, and not lose that run is just, they just deserve them.
Yeah, it's done particularly well. So I think there's that piece to it. While I also see this now gripping, like my Twitter feed blew up with it, but still kind of blowing up with it. Is weirdly the stuff on my Twitter that gets shared a bunch is the characters. People have really kind of fallen in love with these characters and love sharing about them and meeting them. And I think that's just a strength of the art design, the voice, and the writing for each character.
Right.
Like, it's not a lot for each one. Like, you don't get long diatribes out of the characters, but you get enough flavor for each character that's unique, and you get very attached to those characters, and you want to see the next snippet of their story again and again and again.
Well, I love how that story builds too, where after a certain amount of meetings or boons or whatever, they just have more text.
There's been I found an interview that talked. There's over 300,000 words in the game.
Wow, that's
and 21,000 voiced lines.
That like Game of Thrones is 202,000 around there.
Yeah.
So it's like more than Game of Thrones, the novel, the first one.
Yeah, text in this game.
Wow.
It's a ridiculous amount of unique content, and that's you start playing it more and more, and you realize I'm not seeing the same thing over and over again. Like, sure, I'm moving through the same areas and kind of the same rooms, but the enemies might be different. From a gameplay standpoint, the boons are different, my build's different, weapons different.
choices
So
are
there's
different when you leave.
your choices, your variance of your gameplay is there, but then there's insane amount of variance of non-repeating dialogue and story that you're just getting little hints into these characters. And it builds really well. And I've talked about this with some people at work and stuff. Objectively, I sit down and look at the story of the game that's compelling me to play through it. Objectively, I'm like, the story is paced very slowly, like very, very slowly.
Yeah, you're just getting little pieces as you each run, basically.
Uh-huh.
And just like
But I
a
don't care.
little. Yeah.
But I'm invested.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of a triumph because most people are like, got to keep that pace up, got to keep it going. And I'm like, the pace is slow. Like, even when I'd say would go to Act 2, where it's really you need to beat the game at a certain number of times to get through that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just getting like a little bit more of the story each time. But it was incredibly compelling to get that other piece of the story, like main story, because you're also getting all these side character stories as you're going. And it's kind of a triumph in telling a story that, again, a way a video game can tell a story. Because if you just wrote this out as just a story in a book or in a movie, people would be like, this is really slow and weird.
Well, it helps to be juxtaposed with the
But
fast gameplay.
Yeah.
It feels less slow.
I think there's just all these. This is a game, when I look at it, it's greater than the sum of its parts overall.
Yeah.
Like, every part is good, but if it all comes together to make it, you just like, you play it and you play after. It's catchy when you first play it, but then you put a few more hours into it and you're like, this is really good. Like, it kind of, I think you said in the thing, it's like an onion. You peel it back and there's just more and more layers to it.
Yeah.
And you don't ever feel like that stops completely. Like, I feel like I've seen a broad amount of it, but even at 88 hours of playing, I still feel there are things that I want to experiment with and I still need to see, which is crazy. I don't know. It's an impressive feat for the size of studio they are as well.
Yeah.
Like, when I talk about like that 300,000 words, that's insane for only like one or two people at the studio to be writing. So the voice line part, the 21,000 voice lines, is fucking insane to record that much dialogue at the quality that they recorded it. And then Darren Korb audio directed the entire game because he's the audio director for the studio. He wrote all the music and he voices Zagreus, Skelly, and Orpheus.
Oh, and Orpheus too.
But yeah. Oh. And Zagreus probably has the most voice lines in the entire game.
Yeah, of course.
And so you're like, how did you have time to do anything like with your family or sleep or anything? Because it's also an insane amount of music. I think there's like 70 tracks total.
Mm-hmm.
It's his biggest amount of music for a game ever. So I'm more than impressed by the ability of that team, the size they are, to make a game this big, even if it took them 3 years.
Yeah.
That's an insane amount of content.
Well, and they got hit sometime during the shelter-in-place time. Their studio got robbed.
Yeah. You can watch the no clip on that.
Right.
As they show, like, it did get broken into, but weirdly, not a lot was actually taken. There's some instruments got taken, and a few little things, but pretty much left all their desks untouched. Okay. Yeah, they're like, they just came in and grabbed some instruments and they're like, not really a fan of thieves or people breaking in, but they were nice about it. They didn't wreck anything.
Yeah, right. They just grabbed the quick things that they could probably
exactly
send to the pawn shop.
I think they might have grabbed a TV or something. But they didn't grab stuff off people's desks or rifle around at all.
Right. That is surprising. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and look at those no clip documentaries because this is gonna get this game. I have no doubt is going to move.
Yeah.
And I'm only 16 hours, which feels pretty. Quick question. I can find this maybe you put it in the video later. But at one point in the video, you said, "Oh, I gotta smash some pots," and I've been wondering myself, is there any benefit to smashing the pots other than like the feel of it?
So the feel is fine. There is, I think is it the mirror? No, it's not the mirror. There's a contractor upgrade that gives any pot has like a 5% chance to drop money. Like
nice.
And you can tell the ones that will drop money. Like they have a different look to them, like they're gold. Like it's clearly so
Okay,
I don't know.
so that
I don't.
becomes a thing.
If I see one of those pots, I'll break a pot.
Yeah.
But I also just like to break the pots because it viscerally is just fun.
Yeah, it just feels good. It's like tactile.
But then there's have you met Dusa? I'm
Yeah.
sure you've
Oh
met
yeah.
Dusa.
Yeah, yeah.
I love Dusa.
Is she in love with you? Like, it feels like she's really in love with Zach. Is that a thing?
I don't want to spoil any of that,
Oh, okay.
actually.
Okay.
'Cause again, all these characters have their own stories and stuff, and I will say the writing is probably some of the most mature writing I've ever seen in a game. Like, when this starts dealing with some pretty heavy issues and complicated things, one, Zagreus is like what we all wish we could be, I think. The way he handles everything, the way he speaks and talks to himself about himself and the people around him, is like a level of like, wow, this is how mature people talk to each other. This is amazing.
Adults.
Like, this is some pretty harsh, deep stuff we're dealing with here. But everyone's dealing with it like adults and talking about it and how they feel and how the other one feels. And it's impressive.
Are you talking about the 2020 election? Or are you talking? No, just kidding.
Exactly.
No, that's awesome. I feel like the way that Zag, like, you're not dealing with the type of writing that's like, we're gonna have this, okay, fucking Order of the Phoenix Harry Potter shit, right? Like, that's not what's happening. You have to get through that phase more mature. He just starts off very calm and so.
Yeah, and the only person he's kind of a jerk to is his dad.
Yeah.
His dad's kind of a jerk to him, and that is something that is part of the process of working through the game.
Right.
There's a lot of pieces to that, and there's a lot of actual dialogue and discussion around that. And it's very worthwhile. And again, where I think you see a lot of, in reality, people unwilling or unable to critically think through their feelings and emotions.
Mm-hmm.
That's not this game. They present the characters as emotionally mature and can verbalize how they feel and why.
Right.
And it's refreshing, which might be another reason why a lot of people are drawn to it, because they don't get that type of dialogue that often.
Right.
So
either in games they're playing or from people in their lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see whenever big topics are brought up, whenever you see like good conversation and good dialogue being modeled around it, is really refreshing. So that's been a lot of fun, and it's interesting. It's interesting as you play more and you get more snippets of the story and you give people their nectar and get more along their social lines. Just what you learn about them and how relationships change. I'll just put it that way.
Well, it's
for
nice.
A lot of different people, not just Zag and Hades,
right.
but lots of different characters.
Well, it's nice how they put like kind of like a reward structure in for so many different things. Like you can obviously upgrade your weapons and upgrade your skills and all. Using a nectar, use that yet?
It's a lot like nectar.
Oh, okay.
Just there's a certain point when you have to start using ambrosia.
Using the diamond to get Orpheus out.
Yep.
And then I assume the characters perhaps later down. There's just so many different.
Like in the contractor, there's a bunch of stuff to use diamonds for in there
cool.
that you open up as time goes on.
There's just so much. I guess it's reductive, but like so much that there's always something. It's very good at the short, medium, and long goals that I have in my head for this game, and I want to achieve all those things. It's almost like Animal Crossing in that way, where there's things I'm doing long, short term, and then that's that treadmill. That's not just the one. And I think that's what's good about this one as a roguelite versus other roguelites. Like Rogue Legacy, for example. Like I really liked the gameplay loop, but like I didn't really. There wasn't a lot story wise or structure wise. Same thing with Spelunky.
Yeah, Spelunky is very story light. I mean, that's pretty much just a straight roguelike. There's no, I guess, shortcuts are kind of your thing you get to use in Spelunky if you want to skip areas.
There's nothing persistent in the
persistent. Yeah. Dead Cells doesn't really have much of a story. I played 15, 16 hours of Dead Cells.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoyed it, but it didn't grab me like this.
That's
not even close. Right. Because it was a mechanical game, and which was fine. It was a very well done mechanical game with some ambient world story kind of stuff going on. But
that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that a lot of those games really focus on like the gameplay, and that's like super rewarding on its own. But this has that plus like 7 other fucking layers.
And they're all intertwined.
That's cool. I haven't got.
That's the thing about it, is that the fact that all those different things that you're doing, like not everything in the house that the house contractor you're using to like change cosmetics of the house, do you think? But there are things in the house contractor that change mechanics in the run.
Yep.
Giving dirt to people gets you keepsakes to use during runs. And there's another thing later on. Again, spoilers when you watch my video. I don't talk about them, but you'll notice that you probably noticed on the keepsake thing to begin with that there's locked doors on the bottom of it.
Oh yeah.
I have them all unlocked.
Oh, okay.
So I don't talk about what they are ever, but you'll just see that there's these images down there of things. And I think later in the run I accidentally use that thing.
Like
you'll
thing
be
that
like,
has
what
like
the hell
3
is that?
charges
Super
kind of thing.
quick, and you'll be like, what?
The thing that has like 3 charges above your health. That thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, not above my health.
Oh.
The very, very top of my skill bar.
Oh, like the rabbit thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna ask you that because I'm staring at your video right now. I'm like, why is there a rabbit head there? But I guess
it's a different thing. It's part of the keepsake thing.
Cool.
It's tied into relationship stuff with characters.
Nice. Uh-huh.
So again, that's like the relationship stuff with characters ties back into the mechanics of the game.
Right.
That's the whole thing with it, is like you have this very, very compelling gameplay loop and very, very good mechanics for the combat.
Right.
But all those other systems also tie into it, and it kind of ties back to giving you the stuff to do those other systems. And it's nice to see a game so well developed in that way, where they've just like contextualized all the mechanics into the story and the lore, and the story and the lore pushes back into the mechanics. I don't know. It makes it feel a lot better. It definitely adds to that compelling loop to me, where I'm just excited to keep pushing into this game more and more. And yeah, that faded list of prophecies, enjoy that. There are so many.
Oh man, there's so many. Yeah, and it really just encourages you to play like very different ways.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's a prophecy. Okay, I should unlock that and just instead of stick build out.
Yeah. I think I finished all of my weapon prophecies, and I finished all of my individual god boon prophecies. So I've gotten. I haven't gotten every boon in the game, but I've gotten every single boon from a god. But I still have like 4 or 5 duo boons to get. And those are harder. I'll tell you that.
I got one, and I was like, what is it?
Usually can be pretty good. They're kind of run. Sometimes if you can build it right, are somewhat run defining. Some weird build defining stuff.
Because I was using it in my mega run, the one that went the longest, and by the time I crossed over in the sticks, I actually sold it because I needed enough money to buy Death Defiance. That much, anyways.
I mean, you'll notice I have 3 Death Defiance.
Is that what's above your health bar?
Huh?
I'm seeing
those are the 3 little things.
Got it.
My health bar.
Cool. Yeah, I like that.
Because it maxes out on the mirror at 3. Like, I assume you haven't unlocked all the levels of the mirror yet either.
No.
So you still haven't seen all the. You haven't seen like the at the bottom when I'm choosing boons, you see the rerolls.
Yeah,
that's a mirror upgrade, a late mirror upgrade. Costs a lot of darkness to get to that one. But it's useful.
Yeah, I've maxed out at least on right now I have 2 different options for things on the mirror. I've maxed out one side except for the Death Defiance. I'm enough darkness to max that.
Yeah, and so you haven't used keys to open up the next chunk.
I did. I used keys once to open up 2.
Okay. Yeah, it keeps going down. There's a lot.
Yeah. Awesome.
And then of course there's 2 breach option as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because why not?
Right. Why not? I mean, if you're iterating that much, and why not tweak them? I feel like if the feedback from early access was like, this is cool, but what if it was like this instead? And it's like, well, why don't we keep this and add that other like variant?
Yeah, or something. I don't know. I do know that they did add a fair amount from early access. I don't know if I talked about it last week. I've been talking about this game a lot with people at work too. Because that's one thing in the industry. This game is making rounds in the industry quite heavily.
In the way of like just having fun as players, or like how the fuck do we bottle this magic?
Fun as players, but then also talking about it in the way of like, how the hell did they pull this off? More from a like, hey, we make games, so let's try to study this to think how we could make games better. or what we can learn from this.
Right.
So there's a lot of those, but I do know there was a point you're you talk at some point. You converse with Meg, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't count any of your wins as real because you're using that mirror. Like it's not a fair fight." And you can go to the mirror, and there's an option to spend a key to reset all your darkness.
Right.
Like you get it all refunded. Cool. It's not like you lose it, but you can wipe your mirror upgrades away. And the next time you go and fight and you've done that, if you've wiped it away, she will comment on you doing that. She will say, she will comment the fight that this is going to be the first fair fight that you guys have had.
Since the very first one when you.
Yeah. And she probably wiped you.
I love those little comments. There was one when I got back to Elysium and like the type of enemy that killed me the last time I was there. And then you go through it and it's like, oh, this is the furthest I've ever been.
Yeah.
Clocking so much in the background. It is like, I think Tetris is like the perfect game, but this has like, there's so many small touches like chef's kiss.
Yeah, and actually that Meg one was added in early access because she had made the comment to wipe your mirror, and then someone in early access was like, it would be great if she actually commented when you got to her and you've done it. And they're like, you're right, it would be. Let's record that and put that in.
That's so great.
I think there's a lot from early access where they did that.
That's kind of the fun thing about early access, and I know that all of us on text had conversations of the price of early access games, especially with Baldur's Gate 3 coming out being full price. And I was like, oh, usually I'm used to like a slight discount. But the flip side is that you could offer a comment that a dev looks at during that period and says, shit, that's right, we should do that. Just that must.
It does. The Baldur's Gate 3 thing, I think the way to look at some of these bigger games like that is you're saying, hey, I'm paying $60 right now, full price. I'm pre-ordering the game.
Yeah.
And they're giving me the option to play a bit of it right now.
Right.
And offer feedback if I want to.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's how you should look at bigger games that do this. And Larian with Divinity Original Sin 2 did the same thing. They're like, this is a $45 game. We will give you the first act to play in a buggy kind of mess, but we want your feedback on it because we want to make the game better. But just know that you're buying the full game. You are not buying this extended demo.
Did you see Larian's? I think it was this week, Friday or whatever.
Oh, jeez. I think I know what you're talking about.
They're like, motherfucker, stop making white men as your fucking characters. Like, we gave you so many goddamn options.
Humans. God damn
it. Just picking white.
Gotta call your asses out.
I love that. Like, make a fucking weird ass tiefling. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Really cool.
It was funny. But yeah, I think early access has been a huge boon too, pun intended, for Hades.
I just want to know, I guess from your this is PC and Switch only. It's not on PS4. It's not on Xbox. Why?
I think there's an exclusivity deal.
Oh, okay. So Nintendo's like,
I think it will eventually, just because every other Supergiant game has come to all platforms eventually.
Right. So Nintendo reached out to them and said, let's do it on ours.
Transistor was PS4 exclusive.
Yeah.
Originally. Bastion was 360 exclusive originally. Pyre, I think, was still PS4.
It was PS4. Okay, so it might just be a business deal.
Yeah. I have a feeling this will show up on PS4, PS5 without issue.
Right.
And will be playable because there's only 10 games that aren't playable on the PS5.
Yeah, I know that's such a small list.
And that list is a bunch of games that I don't even have a fucking clue what they are.
Well, Hitman Go is really good, and that's the only one on the list that I own, and I don't care. I can't play it on PS5.
It's a mobile game.
It is, yes. But I have
and actually,
PS4.
Those things, I'm like, there's some weirdness there. I'm like, what aren't these? But it probably has to do with the fact that it's a port of a mobile game going on there, or something.
Mm-hmm.
Something that they did on that porting process just makes it incompatible.
Well, and it was interesting because it was a mobile game, and then it was a PS Vita game, and then it was a PS. So I don't know if there was a port to a port to a port or what, but
yeah, who knows? But there's clearly any of those 10 games that they showed. I'm like, somebody did some weird engineering there that makes this break, and we'll never know what. But
well, and the funny thing about that is that Lara Croft Go is also on PC. So
that's weird. Yeah. So yeah, something.
That's great to see because I'm moving to the digital edition for the PS5. That's when I pre-ordered. Slight regrets. And most of my games, they're all moving except for that one apparently.
Yeah. So that's cool. And I would expect that you'll see Hades there eventually.
Oh yeah.
Probably next. So came out this year in September, I would expect either late spring or 1 year exclusivity for Switch. So 6 or 12 months, I'm not sure.
Well, I'm ready for the Zaggins.
Oh, please. I thought about that too. I was like, God, that'd be so good.
It would be really unique. And not, obviously it doesn't have the pedigree and is necessary to be put in this.
No.
I
can't. I thought about that. That'd be really cool. And then having moves or some sort of mechanic where you could change what god you're calling on, kind of change up your move set slightly.
Doesn't Joker allow you to change your persona that you call on? Or is it always just the base?
I don't know if you can change your persona. I think Joker doesn't. Which I have that amiibo sitting right in front of me now.
Yeah, that came pretty recently, I think.
It did. It's a cool looking amiibo.
Well, I just got a Tom Nook amiibo. So.
Oh my god. I guess we can move on from Hades if you're playing anything else, which I think you're probably playing some Animal Crossing still.
Animal Crossing, yep. And I have a question for you, actually. Again, I can Google, but whatever. I have you here. I got to the point where I've upgraded residential services, and I'm able to create inclines or bridges. So I'm putting another bridge on my island so I can stop pole hopping. And then you have to donate. It's like 98,000 bells, which is like astronomical for how much I have right now. Do other residents donate too, or is it only you?
Oh, I don't remember because I always donated myself. I was getting huge windfalls from the turnip market.
Right. I don't have turnips. I don't even understand how that works. Do I have to grow them or something?
So, no. The person that sells them is there in the mornings on Sundays.
Is it Leaf?
You buy them
not
then.
Leaf, right? No, it's someone else.
No, they're wandering your island. I think Daisy May might be the character's name.
Only on Sunday mornings?
Only on Sunday mornings. Oops. That's when you buy.
Missed that.
And then your price, and then each day of the week, morning and afternoon, at two different prices a day at the Nook shop. You talk to the boys. Okay. Do you have the Nook shop with the two?
Yeah, I do.
Younger.
So
they'll have turnip prices.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that. Just like, what the fuck? I don't know how to grow turnips.
You don't grow them. You buy them.
All right. So it's a stock market.
It's a thing where you hopefully buy them low and sell them high. It's a stock market.
Got it.
The STALK stock market.
Jesus Christ.
Because it's Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
And it works better whenever you have like a group of people playing, like at work. Whenever we could track people's prices and be like, oh my god, I bought for 90 and this coworker has their buy price is now 600.
Oh dang.
I'm gonna go make millions of bells right now.
Right.
And I did.
Oh damn. Okay. Because I'm basically like, okay, I have 30,000 bells and I guess I can just keep harvesting oranges and selling those. But how the fuck am I supposed to make this much money for 100? Like the prices were astronomical for the bridge.
Yeah, they're hundreds of thousands. Like eventually you start getting to hundreds of thousands of bells.
Okay.
I'm trying to. I don't know the other ways to make money, but I mean there is a thing of like even if you don't have friends you're connecting up with on that part, you could still buy cheap and then just be checking daily what the pricing is, and just sell when it's even making 10 to 15% profit.
Right.
So. Sometimes you'll get a big windfall and you'll make like 400% profit. But it's a weekly thing and you can't sell on Sunday. You can buy on Sundays, can't sell on Sundays. And then every other day of the week you have pricing, morning and evening pricing.
Okay.
That's a mechanic in the game.
So I need to make sure to log in next Sunday morning.
Yes.
Got it.
And then run around your island until you find Daisy May.
Right. Got it. Okay. So yeah, that's other than Fall Guys a little bit, the new update, badass fucking courses that are. And then I just loaded up. It's probably not one I'll play with my daughter anytime soon, just because of the battling aspect. But I'm trying to get best of the best. Last week, and I've seen the Square game.
Bravely Default.
That's it. Thank you. That's one with the weird name. I can never. But yeah, it's been Hades.
Crossing.
Which is weird because like I finished Concrete Genie, or I finished Ghost, then played Concrete Genie. I had like a plan, like what I'm gonna play next, and I just like fell into Hades, and I'm not leaving this until like probably next month.
That's how I feel too. You sent it to me. I had already purchased Persona 4 Golden.
Oh right, yeah.
I haven't installed. I could play it at any point in time, but then I'm just looking at it, I'm like, I'm just gonna play Hades instead right now.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't want to play other games. It's just that the draw of playing Hades is really strong.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna be interesting.
it's great. I mean, I live for finding games that make me feel that way. So,
I mean,
that's also a game I wish I could have worked on. Honestly, I know I couldn't have ever, but it's one of those games where it's like, damn, this game's amazing, and I wish I could have worked on it.
It's definitely the feeling that I chase in books and TV shows and games. Like when I finish The Witcher 3, like there's just a hole in your soul. I need that feeling again. Like what is that amazing? Eventually find like Aspect 2 and whatever else. So this is another one. It's just like wow.
Yeah, there's definitely something about this being in the roguelike genre that makes me be like, it never goes back to like The Witcher 3 is like, I love Witcher 3 and it was great, but there's a part of me that's like, I don't know if I could play that all again. It's a lot, and it's a lot to just go back into and work through, because there are parts of that game where actually I'm like, I don't want to slog through that again. Even if the reward is really good in the end.
Yeah. I loaded it up.
But the thing is, I can just be like, if I came back, like, eventually stop playing it, which I will, but I could come back a year later, I'm like, I'm just going to do a couple runs. It doesn't go away. And the ability to just jump back in for like 20 minutes and get meaningful gameplay and ideally some extra stuff that you haven't seen before, it's always there, which is crazy.
Well, I loaded up Witcher 3 on my laptop. I played for about an hour, and especially on a 60 frames per second ultra.
That's true.
It feels good, and it's still great. It's, obviously, how do I pull up my sword again? How do I dodge? All that kind of stuff.
I don't want to do White Orchard again. God.
Yeah, I'm playing enough after the DLC I played on, because I played the base game on Xbox, played first DLC. So I'm just fucking around with that whole sequence. I'm just
oh, cool.
Yeah. But no, that game, I need to sit down and just start fresh and just begin. But then there's to play.
Yeah.
That I just like
exactly.
Hades. Like
yeah, like Hades.
Well, anything else for the podcast tonight?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I think next week we're gonna have all four of me, Brad, and Trent, and we're gonna try to do, unless some crazy shit, we're gonna try to do game by generation, basically. But basically like 2013 now, kind of get a list of 10 favorites, not like the best of the, like, even if you've never played it, it's still like your 10 favorites. That
okay,
is,
then.
Unless some crazy we have a little bit of
NDAs are dropping on Xbox Series X stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen some videos go.
We have, a couple of weeks to play with in terms of I would like to get that podcast up or the new generation starts. So we got a couple of weeks, hoping this week is quiet, but who knows? I'm envisioning
one week that they hope is quiet, where we've had some quiet weeks, is the week that it's not going to be quiet. I guarantee it.
That's probably what's going to all of a sudden there's some smash character. Well, I guess I just did. Anyway, for you,
PS5.
Just think about your list, stuff. Right? Just think about your list.
Okay.
See if we do this.
Pretty sure Hades is on that list.
Hell yeah, dude. Although I guess technically it's not on, but we're not sticking
to be on PS4. You said generation.
It's just time frame. It's from
time frame is 2013 to November 2020.
November 2013 to best favorite 10.
Yeah.
All right.
You're done.
Cool. Well, thanks everyone. This was episode 263 of Prof and Dev Play Games, weekly podcast about, if you like us, tell a friend, rate us on your podcast of choice. He's at Summerspeak. I'm at Prof Plays.
Later, everyone.